Welcome to the Tactical Dent Tech Podcast. You are now part of a small underground movement of dent technicians from all over the world. We are on a mission to change our industry with innovation, intelligence, and skill. But because we don't rely on an insurance company to steer customers our way, we need to do things different. We need to do things smarter. We do that through a network of technicians that we call the Tactical Tech Movement. Now let's get this revolution started. Yo, what's up, everybody? John Hiley here with the Tactical Dent Tech Podcast. Chilling with my co-host, Angela Hiley.
Ooh.
Hope you guys are having an amazing, what is today, Tuesday? Wednesday?
Today's Wednesday.
Today. Hope you guys are having an amazing Wednesday, although you're probably listening to this on Thursday morning because it is Wednesday night here at 7-Eleven.
7-Eleven.
So I hope you guys are having a good morning or good night whenever you're listening to this podcast. Mm-hmm. And so I revealed to Mrs. Hiley here
Oh my.
what I'm going to be buying for her Christmas gift.
John.
A motherfucking stain stick.
Shut up.
Come on, all you guys out there with me.
Shut up, man.
We need to do this thing where
Shut up, man.
we at least... Wait, you gonna Joe Biden me? Shut up, man. Or wait, no, he said, come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
We need to do this thing where we all give our significant others here a stain stick.
Stain stick.
Imagine the look on their face as they unwrap a gift and they're thinking, ooh, what is this? And it's a damn
No,
stain
I
stick.
know. No, I need to give you the stain stick. That way you can go ahead and pre-treat your shirts or sweatshirts.
Hey, don't be
oh my
hating
God.
on me.
I'm
Don't be
getting a
hating on
tongue
me.
twister.
Don't be hating on me just because you can't get them stains out like I like it.
You're the one that puts them fuckers in there.
You're going to have to be putting some more work in on this shit.
Nope. I should just
Yeah.
throw it away. Just throw your t-shirts away. As soon as there's like a stain that won't come out and stuff like that.
I
just
do kind of
just
got
throw
like
them
an
away.
unlimited supply of tactical shirts.
I know, so why are you over there bitching and moaning and groaning about getting me a stain
I
stick?
just thought it'd be funny to watch you open up a stain
And
stick.
I think that shirt that you have on right now
You guys
has
should've
been
seen-
worn way too much.
You guys should have seen the year that I got her a gag gift box and I put her LeBron James autographed jersey on it.
Yeah.
In it. And she goes and opens it up and it's this gag gift box and it was called like the iArm.
Yeah.
And it was like an armband for an iPad.
And I don't even have a fucking
It's hilarious
iPad.
because I don't know if you guys seen this, and I honestly don't even know if Walmart still sells this shit. But
Yeah.
they got these gag gift box or like as seen on TV, like gag gifts. And the funniest thing was it was like an iArm. And,
Yes.
And it even had pictures of like somebody like putting their remote controls on their arm. So their
Well,
TV, the remote controls,
okay.
like you could like it was pretty much like it was trying to sell like a Velcro
So
arm
before
sleeve.
you gave me this gift, you kept hitting around about something about, I hope you will like to wear it while you're exercising. And I'm like, what the hell is he talking
An
about?
iArm.
Because I told
But it was
John.
pretty much like a Velcro arm that you could add like double face.
Well,
Velcro
I
to
remember
other
that
things.
year. I either wanted some big ass diamond earrings
Yeah.
or I wanted. Did I even mention that I wanted a LeBron James signed
I don't know.
jersey? Or.
I don't know.
That was the best gift ever.
Yeah.
Because I
So,
went through every single emotion that you could probably think of.
You know, speaking of Velcro, you know where Velcro came from?
Where?
Some dude walking in the woods. You know them things that stick on your.
Them burrs.
Yeah. So he was literally walking through the woods and had all these burrs, and he was just like, "Holy shit!" He's like,
Really?
"If I come up with a material like this, and then I create a material that's got tiny little hooks in it, like these burrs have."
Velcro doesn't have hooks.
Velcro has tiny little hooks.
They do?
Yeah, and when you put them together, they hook together.
Oh, I'm going to have to get a microscope and look at that.
You better go look at it.
I will have to do that.
So yeah, so she had her iArm, and I watched her go through all these emotions where, you know how you give somebody something and they gotta like act like they like it.
Yeah.
It was like that emotion, but like it was dead, like serious in her face that she was like, what the fuck is this?
I love that, like when I got that as
And
my
then when
Christmas
she
present.
pulled it out,
yeah,
she went through like
started
another
crying.
series of
I think
emotions.
did I start crying?
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I think I even wrapped it in a big box and then a little box and then a smaller box.
Yeah.
So that way she had to keep going through and unwrapping boxes.
Yeah, you did that to me.
There's plenty of years where I just did all my wrapping with Body Shop paper and Body Shop tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, like most of the years, I would just I always had a Body Shop paper laying around. Then obviously we always have what do you call that shit? What kind of tape is that?
I don't know. It's not duct tape.
It's not fucking duct tape. I can't believe I just am at a loss for words of what kind of tape this is.
It's tape that you use when you're taping up a
masking
car.
Tape.
Masking?
Motherfucker, masking tape. Jesus Christ, I can't believe I forgot that.
That's all right.
So I would do all of my gifts with Body Shop paper and masking tape. So they would all be like kind of like that. I don't know if it's like a bluish gray color. It's kind of, or maybe it's a greenish gray color.
Yeah.
And wrap it up, and then I would always use yellow masking tape.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
That was your style.
That's my style, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's right. It's your style.
Yeah, so it looks like we only got, hold on for a second. Today is the 9th. So we got the 10th, 11th, 12th for Trump to
God.
come
it's the
forth.
14th of December.
Oh, wait, okay, so then we got a little longer than that.
I don't want to talk about the
9th,
election
10th, 11th,
anymore.
12th, 13th, 14th.
This is womp, womp, womp. Womp, womp, womp.
I don't know. I'm going to predict between now and the 14th, some sort of shit hits the fan.
I don't give a fuck.
You guys are listening to me right now. I'm going to predict between now and the 14th, some sort of shit is just going to hit the fan.
I'm done.
I don't know what this shit
I'm over
is.
it. I'm done. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about it anymore.
But I'm just saying, there's going to be some sort of shit that hits the fan between now
can't
and
we
the
just
14th.
not talk about the election? Every podcast that we have done, we've always talked about this election.
Well, I think that's on our listeners' pressing minds.
But do you ever think that maybe right now they want to hear something different?
Yeah, but what about that motherfucker that literally drove a semi-truck with 6 pallets? They called them gaylords. I don't know why they call a pallet a gaylord. But a gaylord always reminds me of like some dude who is a gay guy, but he's like a lord over other submissive dudes, and he's a gaylord.
Wasn't that what's his name on Meet the Fockers?
Well, their last name was Gaylord, yeah. But apparently, this guy drove.
His last name was Fockers. Wasn't his first name Gaylord?
Yeah, Gaylord Fucker.
Yes.
Right. So
I love that movie. Meet the Fockers.
But anyhow, this guy drove 6 of these Gaylords, which are apparently these giant pallets.
Jesus, take the wheel.
From New York. Where did he drive them into? Was it
Michigan or Pennsylvania or something like that?
I think he drove them into one or the other, Michigan or Pennsylvania.
One of the two.
Yeah. There's lots of voter fraud going on out there, guys. Voter fraud.
Say that again.
Ran rapid.
Say it again.
Floater Todd. Smoter Grod.
Oh my God. What else you got for me?
Oh, nothing. I thought on this podcast, we're just going to turn the focus and just talk about you now.
You're going to ask me some questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's your favorite color?
My favorite color? I don't really know. I don't really know if I have a favorite color. There's a lot of colors I like, though. I like blues and greens.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I don't know.
Wow. She is so interesting. Let's keep this interview rolling.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Let's talk about, okay, so let's just talk about what do I want to be when I grow up?
Yeah.
I want to be a motherfucking hustler. You better ask somebody.
Oh, that is so good. But I'm already a hustler, so I mean,
I
already got my hustle going on.
Okay.
I've been doing that for like a long time.
That's right, because it's all about the hustle.
Yeah. That's right.
So, why don't you tell us what books you're reading lately?
Books? Well, I'm reading Jen Sincero's new book. Hold on. Let me find the name of it for you. It is Badass Habits. Cultivate the awareness, boundaries, and daily upgrades you need to make them stick. Jen Sincero. I think I need to get like some reading glasses or something.
Man, you've been saying that forever.
It's getting worse as I get older.
I remember when I finally realized I needed glasses.
Oh my God. Yeah,
I was actually working on a roof at a hail gig.
Oh my God.
And a buddy of mine, in fact, he later on started working for me.
Yeah.
He came alongside me and he was pointing out some spots on the roof, and I couldn't see what the fuck he was talking about, literally.
Yeah.
I just remember he was just pointing up there by the sunroof, and he's like, you missed the spot here, missed the spot there. And I'm looking in my light, and they look fucking perfect. Like, I'm looking up and down, side to side, pushing my light back. I couldn't see shit. Not one little wave, not
Did he say
anything
something
wrong
to
with
you?
it.
About how you might have needed glasses.
Yeah, and that's when we were talking. He's like, if you ever went and got your eyes checked. And he was like, that's like the thing that you don't want to, it's almost like it could be an offensive thing to say to like a dent guy, like, hey man, you need to get your eyes checked.
Yeah.
But he was like, no, seriously. He's like, maybe that you can't see that.
Yeah.
You need to go get your eyes checked. So I ended up going to get my eyes checked, and I was like, holy fucking shit.
Oh my.
Like, have you ever been to an eye doctor?
When I was a little kid.
Well, the way that it was when I went in there is you sit in this chair.
Mm-hmm.
Well, number one, for the first thing they do is they put you on this machine that you look in, and you got to count these little dots, or you got to say if the dot is on the right-hand side or the left-hand side, and it checks kind of like your side vision, and then it puts you on this other machine that spits these little puffs in your eye, like almost like a little shoots air right in the dead center of your eye.
Ugh.
So they tell you, they're like, it's getting ready to come. I'm going to shoot some air in your eye. Are you ready? Don't blink. And then poof. And then it like shoots air in one eye, and then you got to switch to the other eye, and they'll tell you, okay, we're going to do that eye, and then poof, it'll shoot air like right in the middle of your other eye.
Mm.
And then they take you into the doctor's room where they have this giant thing. It almost reminds you of like back in the day, whenever they first developed the first pair of glasses, it was like this giant helmet that goes on your head. Really? And it had like all these different lenses. I mean, you ever seen that? Like when they do a depiction of a scientist, like an old school scientist, using these like old glasses before they knew the technology.
No,
that's what it looks like. It's like this giant
thing. It's scary.
That it's like they put this like big dome over your head that's got all these different lenses in it, and he just keeps switching them out,
Huh.
And he goes, okay, can you read this number, this number, this number, and then you'll read it, and he'll be like,
until he finds like the perfect.
Yeah, they'll kind of like dial you in with the numbers you're reading.
Yeah,
but then he'll get to the point where he starts fine tweaking, and that's where he goes, all right, does this look better or this look better?
Yeah,
does this look better or this look better?
Yeah,
and he'll go through them different slides. Mm-hmm. And then at that point, they'll pretty much have your prescription.
I feel you.
Which now, I started out wearing actual glasses.
Yeah.
And now I've been wearing contacts for probably, 4 years now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, which has been good. The one thing that sucked about wearing actual glasses is that, a lot of times...
John said I was keeping him dorky.
Women always try to either fatten you up or keep you nerdy looking or something to make sure no other women are looking at you.
No, that's not
the technique, and they'll tell you how great and handsome you're looking. Like, you ever notice that every time a dude gets married, it's like when you first look at their pictures.
I never wanted you to get chubby.
Like a dude and a woman get married, and you look at their like very first like wedding day photos, and they are both in like such incredible shape, and like the dude is like so sleek looking.
I don't think you were in incredible shape when we got married.
Shit.
I mean, you're the best.
Wait a second. We didn't do it traditionally though.
No, but
we had the kid and then we got married.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the way like some people do it, like where they get married then have the kid.
Oh,
them people.
Oh, not
right.
us, right?
No, not the ones that have the kid and then get married. But so the people that actually, get married and then have the kids. The man's always in his tip-top shape he's ever been in. So is the female.
Well, you just got
It
you
take
just got
2
chubby.
motherfucking years.
You
They
got
have a
chubby
kid.
when I got pregnant.
It'll take 2 motherfucking years.
You started
and then
eating with me.
All of a sudden, the dude starts looking like crap. But the woman don't tell
Do
him
you
that.
think you got that chubby when I was pregnant?
I really don't remember.
I remember you got all the stretch marks on your stomach.
I told her though, but
That was the bestest thing. That was the bestest
I get
thing.
pregnant, and I'm not even being
pregnant?
told. I'm not even being told that I've got to rub cocoa butter on my belly.
You being pregnant, huh?
Yeah.
Don't you remember that? It was like as soon as my stomach started growing, you started getting these stretch marks on your stomach, and I was
the weirdest fucking thing.
It was weird. I know.
I carried part of that baby. I got the stretch marks to prove it.
You did. That's just so odd. I wonder if that's happened to any other couples out there.
That's all right. So it took me 15 years to get tan, jacked, and juicy again.
15 years? Well, let's see here. You're 40. So you're saying 25? That's the last time when you were tan, jacked, and juicy?
I'm 30, 40.
25?
Maybe it took me 20 years to get tan, jacked, and juicy.
I mean, I think all of us as humans go through a spell where we look back and we're just like, damn, we didn't.
I don't know why I felt so good looking at that time, though.
I always thought you were good looking. Did you think I was always good looking?
Maybe I had the Tony Soprano thing going on.
No, you didn't have that going on.
Well, Tony Soprano, by all means, guys, most of us men would be like, yeah, that fat dude. But now that dude actually,
I don't think
when
you were
Tony
that
Soprano was at the height of his Sopranos series, he was actually voted one of the sexiest men in America.
So it's basically the way you carry yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Women like that. They want a pit bull on their side. They want a man with confidence.
That's
a man
true.
who shows up and tells them, you know what I mean, a couple fucking wise guys.
Yeah. Lay it on me.
Yeah. I mean, that's my point, though, I mean? So, it doesn't have to be, you could look back, and, I mean, if you looked at a photo
Yeah.
of, what's his name? Is his name James Garfini or some shit?
Maybe.
I mean, if you look at, certain photos of him, maybe he didn't look sexy in them photos, but the way he was in person and on the actual TV show,
Yeah.
he won #1 sexiest man in the world.
Yeah, that's true. That is
yeah.
true. Yeah.
Just because you're carrying a little weight, just because you get a little out of shape,
And now you're
doesn't
over
mean
there.
you ain't sexy.
Now you're over there bouncing your chest muscles. Mm-hmm. Does that make you feel manly?
I wonder if that's why. I wonder if that's why dent guys always have hot wives. Is because we've got this air of confidence in us.
Might be.
I ain't saying every dent guy has that air of confidence.
Yeah.
But I'm saying a good percentage of dent guys out there have that confidence. I remember back when I first got into dent removal. Oh, Lord, yeah. See the way they acted back then. Oh, man. When I first got into doing dent removal, the dent
Was
guys...
it big time egos?
Oh, man. They
Was that
thought that they
horrible?
were the... Oh, good God. Talk about walking around with the air of confidence. They thought they were the best thing that ever landed on planet Earth. Which made me feel the same way.
Oh, I see.
No, it was hilarious. Some of you old school dent guys are listening to this. You guys are laughing right now because you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You guys know that old school dent guy attitude.
Something that I've noticed, because I can only really evaluate in the PDR industry, but some of these men in the PDR industry, their egos, I'm just like, oh, it looks just, it's not a good thing.
I don't see a lot of egos floating around. I mean, I've seen a lot of confidence back in the day.
I don't know. I think somebody thinks their ego's way too big.
I don't really see it that way.
You don't see it that way?
I've seen it more as confidence. I never really seen too much of, But man, there was that dent guy confidence back in the day. Like I said, maybe some of you young cats don't see it now, but even if you do see it now, you do not even see anything close to what it was back, so many years ago. What is it, like 17 years ago?
Maybe it's just because most dent guys are like really manly.
And and back then, there wasn't as many dent technicians around. I believe it was much more rare. And because you're a rare breed,
you're a rare.
It's kind of like you're an exotic animal.
Okay.
I mean, it's like you remember that dude? Who's that dude that was riding around? Biggie Smalls' buddy. How he was riding around in limousines with a exotic animals and all that.
Oh, you're talking about that dude was off of Love and Hip Hop.
Yeah, they ended up busting him for having all them exotic animals, and he would just be like chilling
Hollywood?
in his. Yeah, he would just be like chilling in his limousine with like a live cougar.
He was a music producer.
Yeah.
Shit, I can't think of his name. I know exactly what started with a K.
Can't remember fucking Masking Tape. Now we can't think of the rapper who has all them exotic animals.
Was he a rapper or was he just a Molly Mall?
Molly Mall.
None of he didn't start with no K.
Volleyball with Molly Mall, baby. With Molly Mall.
There we go.
So dent guys, they felt like they were like Molly Mall.
Okay.
Like, you ever see, you guys look it up. Look up Molly Mall in the limousine.
That's the right name, right?
Yeah, look up Molly Mall in the limousine with a cougar, live cougar. And that's like, that picture will show you exactly the way dent guys felt about themselves.
Okay.
It wasn't ego. It was, hey man, I'm exotic. I'm different. And I'm chilling like a motherfucker. And I'm making money, bitches. I'm making money.
Yeah, that's who it is. Molly Mall.
Molly Mall, boy.
Yep, there we go.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. There we go. I was the one that remembered that. Not you.
You hear this shit? You guys hear what I got to deal with?
Oh.
She just loves it when she gets something.
When I get something.
When you get something.
Wait a minute. Did I ever tell them the story about that car when we were going through Lebanon? I can't remember.
Yeah, you did.
I did?
Yeah.
I defeated you.
Did I ever tell them the story about the time you loaned your brother that money?
Oh my God, here we go again.
You wrote it down in our books and said you spent it at Kmart.
Oh my God, John.
I'll never let her forget this moment.
Listen to him.
Never let her forget
Listen
that
to him. Listen to him.
That's back when we lived in a 700 square foot apartment.
Was it even that big? Was it 700?
That's back before I was one of the exotics.
Hey, that's true.
One of the exotic dent guys.
Oh my God. Won't you ask me another question? Won't you ask me something like,
Why don't you interview yourself? Because you know all the questions.
No. Ask me another question.
All right. What's your favorite kind of weed to smoke?
Oh my God, John. These are like surface level questions that you're asking me. I don't really have a certain type of weed that I like to smoke. It has to be a hybrid. A sativa and an indica that's mixed.
See, there's some dent guys out there shaking their head. They're saying, yeah, me too.
Well, a sativa tends to give you more energy, and indica is something that's going to really mellow you out. So with someone that has anxiety, an indica is very good to help with that.
Don't they say like indica means like into couch or something
like that? Yeah, but
that?
If you do kind of like a hybrid, it's just kind of like to where it keeps you mellow, but it gives you energy at the same time.
Last time I smoked that indica shit, I slept for like 15 hours straight.
You got a good night's sleep.
I couldn't even fucking move. And then that other shit makes me paranoid. And it makes me feel like a loser.
It makes you feel like a loser?
Indica just makes me feel tired as fuck. Like, I'm just ready to, sleep for hours upon hours upon hours. I definitely get a lot of rest, but I just wake up and I'm like tired. Then when I wake up, I'm like, we got any cheese? We got any cheese? Oh, I'm gonna eat some cheese. Nummy,
cheese.
nummy. I'm gonna eat some cheese.
Nummy.
And then I'm gonna go back down and I'll be like, hey, we got some potato chips. I go
And got
get
the
some
munchies.
potato chips and then I'll go back and go to sleep again.
Yeah. I just personally, when smoking weed, I have to watch the people that I'm around.
Oh, you can be around people?
Well, I mean, like certain people I can as long as they have good energy.
that.
But there's no way that I could be like, you know, doing my thing and then I'm like the happiest person and then I walk into a room with a bunch of people and I got all this crazy energy coming at me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you can't.
You know what this reminds me of?
Like I can't do that though.
So I'm not gonna say his name, but anyhow, my dude who comes in, he drives the Mack truck. Some of you guys might know who he is because, but anyhow, he told me that his dad apparently.
This is hilarious.
Yeah, he told me apparently like his dad, and you would never think that his dad would do this either. I mean, they're cool as fuck. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, they're gun toting, church going, gun toting, but cool, like American dudes.
Yeah.
And so he told me that I guess his dad got a hold of some gummies, and he ended up eating some of them. And you know how it is when you eat any kind of gummy or any kind of weed, like you'll eat it, and it almost feels like it ain't even fucking working for a while.
No, but then
it
all of a
tricks
sudden,
you, man.
yeah.
It like literally, it fucking tricks you into thinking it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
And then you go eat more, like he did. So he ate more of it.
Yeah.
And then him and his wife went to one of his buddy's house to play cards. And apparently his dad took off to use the restroom, and then he texted his wife and said he was in the car, that they needed to go. So like he ghosted his friends and ended up leaving, like going up like he was using the restroom, went out and sat in the car, and then texted his wife and said, hey, you need to get up here because we've got to go.
I don't know. I don't eat them things because that just doesn't sit well with me. But yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny. I don't think Ryan would care if I told this story to you, Brewer. Have I told the story before with Ryan Brewer?
I
Fuck
think
it.
so.
He's not going to give a shit. So anyhow, yeah, we were at the...
You didn't even have to say his name. You can just say a friend of mine.
He's not going to give a shit. If so, he'll... Fuck, who gives a fuck about weed anymore anyway?
No,
it's pretty much becoming legal everywhere in the country.
I mean, they decriminalized it on a federal level, so, I mean...
I remember being on podcasts in the past. Nobody would want to talk about this shit. All of them were smoking weed. None of them would want to say a fucking word because they was afraid, like everyone.
Like, who even?
I looked at them. I'm like,
cares?
do you guys even know who the fuck you're talking to? I mean, when's the last time you have talked to a bunch of dent guys that really give a fuck if somebody's smoking some fucking weed? Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to imagine what dent guy this is going to fucking offend, or it's going to cause him to be like, I don't like that guy anymore, man. He smokes weed. Like, does that even fucking exist? No. So, like, I never understood why all these dudes were all fucking acting weird about it. Like, they want to never tell anybody they ever done a drug in their entire life, Mm-hmm. When that's just, it's just, fuck it. I cut the shit. But I want to tell you about Brewer's story, right? Mm-hmm. So he told me that one of his customers ended up, tipping him with a ganja cookie. Mm-hmm. And apparently it was, I'm going to say when Colorado first legalized the shit, one of his customers got one up from Colorado. And apparently it was one of the fucking really potent ones is what Ryan was telling me. And he said literally on the package of this cookie, it said, you can always eat more, you can never eat less, right? Mm-hmm. So it had a warning on the package, says you can always eat more, but you can never eat less. So he decides, he's like, fuck it, whatever. I'm just going to eat one bite of it, right? So opens it up and just eats a tiny little bite of the cookie. And apparently he goes to drive to the grocery store and he just like starts sweating in his car.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my God. He's like, his heart starts beating. He's like, dude, I'm feeling like kind of fucked up.
Yeah, which will happen.
So he ends up turning his car around and driving back to his dent shop. ends up going in, closing the door into the dent shop, and he's like sitting there in his office, and he's going like literally thinking that maybe he has to call the ambulance.
Oh.
That like the whole fucking room spinning, his heart's beating super fast, and he's like, dude, like I'm considering calling the ambulance at this point. And then all of a sudden he looks up and his landlord walks in.
Yeah.
So apparently he had a meeting set up with his landlord.
Oh,
and because
that sucks.
because his landlord had the keys to the place, right?
He just let
himself in. So Brewer's in here trying to have this conversation, this meeting with his landlord. And I guess the landlord starts talking about how drugs are so bad in their area. Like how drugs are getting so bad and all this shit.
Yeah.
And he says he's about to lose his fucking shit. And then all of a sudden, like one of his buddies, like his landlord left the door unlocked.
Yeah.
Come rolling up in there and open the door. And I guess his landlord is like, imagine him opening the door and his landlord being kind of like behind the door, you know?
Yeah.
And his buddy looked at him and he goes, "Man, you look fucked up." and he said it was like literally, he said
horrible.
he'll never eat that shit ever again. He said it was like a nightmare. He had to tell everybody that he was sick and everybody had to go and he had to kick his landlord and his buddy out.
Yeah.
And then like as he was doing it, a customer showed up. Like it was just fucked.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
Man.
I wonder why, like, when you eat that stuff compared to when you smoke it, it's like totally different.
When you eat it, it makes you feel like you're hallucinating.
Because, like, you can smoke it and you'll be, like, cool because it's, like, really easy to gauge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's like when you eat that stuff, it's, like, a whole different experience.
Yeah. It's so weird. I mean, I would say probably in my time, I've ate at least 500 hits of acid.
I know, you've ate a lot of acid.
So, I mean, that's what we used to do when we were kids. We would get acid and we would eat it. And we would do something called, we would eat 10 packs, which are 10 strips of acid.
Well, how do you
at a
compare?
time.
Okay, so how do you compare? I can't believe we just got on the whole conversation of drugs, but so how do you compare it? So hallucinating when you eat marijuana compared to when you eat LSD?
There's no fucking comparison. And when you eat LSD, you will literally disappear. Like you do not have any control over it at all. So if you eat marijuana, I mean, you at least got some control. There's some sense of coming back to your mind and saying. But
let me ask you a question. But when you have some control, do you think that might be what freaks people out? Is because they know something's going on and they don't have any. They're trying to fight that control, and that's when it just.
It's both.
Goes,
I don't know. It's both. There's. It's such a fine line between the two because when you lose control, if something fucked up happens.
Oh, like with LSD?
Yeah. And if something fucked up happens, like the police come knocking at your door or some shit like that, I mean, everything gets fucked up, right?
Yeah.
And then, for instance,
horrible.
when you eat 10 hits of LSD, you will completely lose any kind of decision making. I mean, you're not gonna like go out and cause trouble or kill anybody.
If you're in a safe environment and you eat a bunch of LSD, are you going to have a good time, or is there still a chance it can go bad?
There is still a chance that it could go south.
So what makes it go bad?
I think what makes it go bad is it can be several things. It could be the environment.
Yeah.
Something could change in the environment. The wrong person could show up. Like, it would be fucking crazy to be on LSD and just have somebody show up that's like a dick.
But wonder if you had the perfect, because I mean, have you ever had like the perfect environment?
Yeah.
To where so you've had the perfect environment and you've digested a shitload of LSD. Was it a good time?
An amazing time. There was one time when we did probably about that much. I mean, I don't really know the exact amount, but we were like, we had glow sticks, and I'm like, God, how old was I back then? This would have probably been back when I was 17 years old. And I'm
that
with,
shit was still on the ceiling when me and you started dating.
Yeah, so I'm with like a bunch of my buddies, and I can't even remember who was all there. Just a group of our friends, and we're eating acid, and we're just chilling in my room, and we end up having all these glow sticks laying around everywhere because they're crazy as fuck. They look like straight up lightsabers. I mean, you could literally take a glow stick and wave it in the air, and you would see the glow pattern stay there for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy the type of visuals that happen.
And I'm assuming there was probably like trails.
Yeah, like
right?
oh, of course, yeah. I mean, you could literally see it there for 10 seconds. So it just makes an incredible fucking show. And what happened was one of the sticks broke, and then all of a sudden, like, it just splashed everywhere.
Yeah.
So next thing you know, we started figuring out how to break them, and we started breaking these glow sticks and just spraying them like everywhere, all over the place. And all of a sudden, the entire room was blown up. If you could imagine, like 20,000 speckles, like everywhere, just glowing.
So it was very
green.
magical.
Well, next thing you know, you felt like you were flying through fucking space.
That
like
would feel amazing.
Sitting there.
That would feel amazing.
And we feel like we're flying through space. And it's all about the music, too. You got to have different... Pink Floyd is probably one of the best.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I asked Gene Fetty when I found out Gene Fetty was a big Pink Floyd fan. I'm like, you do some acid, bro? And he's like, no, never done drugs in my life. And I'm like, really? But you love Pink Floyd? He's like, yeah. I'm like, what are you getting out of him, man? I'm like, I've tried listening to him sober, and I'm like, yeah, I understand it, you know, brick in the wall, but man, you haven't heard Pink Floyd unless you fucking, I mean, that shit was like fucking written on acid. They probably sung that shit on acid.
Yeah.
I mean, Pink Floyd was made for fucking acid.
Yeah. What was it like? What was that music like? See, I've never done LSD.
It's so weird. It's like somehow that music would just jump into your fucking mind, your body, and your soul. And it would like make you figure everything out.
Really? So did it like unlock the key to the universe?
Yeah, but then you would forget all of it by the time the morning came.
Did you remember like a little bit? Or was there what
No.
about a feeling? Were you left with a certain feeling
there's
that you
sometimes
knew?
you're left with certain feelings and stuff like that afterwards.
That you knew something, that you knew something.
That something was unlocked in your mind that wasn't there before.
Yeah.
They actually say if you look at the structure, the compound structure, whatever, the way LSD works and how it releases chemicals in your brain, that of LSD and that of mushrooms, that it will unlock, like a little key will come and actually go into something that looks like a lock. So that's the way the two chemicals come together that create the hallucinations, that create the, you know, all of this stuff.
So let me ask you this. The times that you've had a bad trip, was it because somebody had some sort of bad energy?
I would say so. I would say it's either somebody having bad energy or you carried something into it that got revealed to you, right? So maybe you were holding on to some sort of bad energy.
Yeah.
And then when you got into it, that shit's going to come out, right? Because you don't have any control anymore. You lose all control.
Do you think it's something that's in your subconscious? That's
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all carry that around day to day. You know, we all carry around different, it's just being in a different mood, man. You know, I mean, we all get in different moods. We all have some shit that happens maybe sometime during the week, the month, the year, whatever, that we tend to carry along with us. Little bit of baggage or something like that we're just not ready to think about or to deal with or whatever. And if you carry that, you know, I guess depending on what level of baggage you carry into an LSD trip, or if it even gets exposed at all, maybe you eat some acid and you don't think about it at all.
Yeah.
Maybe it pulls you away from it.
I feel
Or
you.
maybe it doesn't and it becomes your worst fucking nightmare and you wish you were dead while you...
Do you remember any of your bad trips?
I do. I remember when you picked me up in the middle of one back in the day where I almost took off running out of your car because there was a police officer sitting at a...
What had happened was when you and I were first together, I went to a party with you at 407, and my brother and some of his friends had tagged along, and I had to take them back, and I left. And I remember in the alley, that's when Boone had like a thing that you put eye drops in, and he squirt a bunch of liquid in your mouth. And I dropped my brother off, and I was like debating. I'm like, do I want to go back there, or do I just like want to go back to my dad's and go to sleep? And I came back there, And when I got there, you were sitting outside on some lawn furniture that didn't have the cushions, and it was raining. And you had your head in between your hands on your head, and your head was in between your legs, and you were like shaking your head no. And I said, John, are you okay? And you looked up at me, and it was like, I must have been God. I was God or an angel. It was like, oh, like,
you know what it was? There was something going on inside that house that I wasn't feeling.
I know what was going on. It's because your biological dad came down.
Who got out of prison.
Yeah, and you guys were hanging out, and he did the whole LSD stuff with you too, and that's what happened.
So he wigged me the fuck out.
Yeah.
He wigged a lot of fucking... I'd left him there.
Yeah.
People were like, why'd you fucking leave him?
Yeah, because like...
People thought he was going to kill him and shit.
Like, I came and then you said, we have to leave. And, you know, I've never really been around anybody that's been on like tripping, you know, like doing that shit. So I'm like, okay. So we get in my car and we're at a stoplight. And across the street, there was a police officer. And John got this look in his eyes, like this fear of... just total fear. And he grabs the door and I'm like, John, it's okay. The light's going to turn green and then I'm going to take you home.
Because I was going to just get out of the car and take off running.
Yeah, and then the police officer would have been like...
he's probably like, what the fuck is that guy doing?
Why is he running out of that car?
Better chase him.
You know, exactly. The
fucked up thing is that happened to me several times before that where I really did take off running and they fucking caught me.
But it didn't happen that time. The light turned green and we drove right past the police officer. And John looked at me and he was just like looking at me in awe. Like,
yeah, because
I can't believe this woman. Like, she's saving me. She's saving me.
That shit. That was incredible.
Yeah, and like when you fell asleep when we got back to your mom's house and went upstairs, John had this couch that was sitting in his room, and I sat down and he fell asleep on my lap. And I mean, you sweated like a shitload. And I'm like, is he okay? I remember I kept checking your pulse and just making sure that you were all right. But I mean, I guess it must just make you sweat a bunch or something when you're tripping.
Yeah, I think my dude might have squirted a little too much in my mouth that time.
Yeah. But you woke up the next morning and you were fine.
Yeah.
So
sometimes after you have a really bad trip, you kind of wake up and you feel way better.
Yeah.
In fact, if you look up one of Joe Rogan, one of his best podcasts, it's the one where he has that guy who owns a supplement company, and the guy is talking about his ayahuasca trip in South America, and the dude's talking about how he went on this ayahuasca pillage where they meet with these shamans, and then these shamans take you into these tents, and you drink ayahuasca, and they kind of like work you through the whole process. But it apparently, when you first start doing something like ayahuasca, you will face all your fucking demons.
Yeah.
You will face all your fucking demons, like everything. Like even if you have this little tiny worry in the back of your mind that
it's going to surface.
Yeah, it's going to surface. Like let's just say you got this worry that, oh, well, my family has heart disease, so I'm going to die of heart disease.
Yeah.
Like literally it'll come to you and say, you're dying of heart disease, and you'll believe it.
Yeah.
And you'll have to either stay in the fear, or you'll have to finally just come to terms with it and say, you know what? If I have heart disease, that's fine. If I'm dying of it, then I'm just going to live the rest of my life in peace. And then it'll take you to the next one. Yeah. And then it'll take you to the next one and then the next one. And they say that one night of ayahuasca going through like pretty much what would be that of pure hell is like, they compare it to 15 years of fucking therapy.
Wow.
Because you're continuously dealing with whatever demon it is that's been plaguing your life.
Yeah.
And when you deal with it and you come to an acceptance of an agreement that this is no longer going to, plague you or plague your life, you get over it.
Yeah.
You leave it behind. And apparently ayahuasca draws that shit out of you.
Yeah.
So the first time you do it, you're going to be like, it's going to be like pure hell. It's going to be going into your own personal pure hell.
Your worst
and
fears.
dealing with everything that you've been hiding, everything that you've been covering up, hiding from yourself. And then apparently that podcast continued, and at the very end of his trip, although he went through all this pure hell and this torture, at the very end of his trip on this ayahuasca, he ended up going somewhere and seeing something that was amazing, like at the very end, and then he came out of it. And all he could ever think about was that last little glimpse of wherever it took him. And then when he started talking to the shamans, they said that that was like the 7th level, and he compared it to that of the Matrix. To where he was in the Matrix. And I want to say that it was like the 7th level. I could be wrong about this. But there was like an 8th level as well. So he ended up doing it again. And apparently when you do it the second time, if you handled it pretty good the first time, if you did it the second time, you've already cleared out all them demons, so you're going to go somewhere completely different. And
be somewhere very blissful.
You guys would have to listen to that whole podcast. It was pretty incredible where he was talking about where this thing took him the second time.
So do you think that whole one time with you doing LSD, was that like the first time I saved you? Did you know like I was the one then after that?
Probably, man. Probably. I'm like,
you're like, this woman's fucking magical.
Girl stopped me from jumping out the car, running away from the police.
Didn't get arrested?
Yeah, because I would have got arrested again. They would have caught me.
Yeah, they would have.
They would have probably been like, there goes John Hiley down.
Yeah.
John Hiley run. They probably would have known who I was when I got out the car and took off running.
Yeah.
I think that's probably why I was so surprised that I didn't get pulled over.
Well, I was the one driving.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I got in a lot of trouble when I was a kid. The police in that town knew me very well.
Them po-pos did.
They were trying to track my ass down every chance they could get.
Yeah, that's true.
I was just trying to live free, man, like the wild, wild west. That's where I wanted to be at.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why they had all these rules and shit. Half the stuff I was getting in trouble for wasn't like I was fucking doing anything horrible.
Nothing horrible.
I mean, so I'm underage drinking.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah. Was that really it? Was it just like drinking and...
Drinking, fighting, stuff like that.
I don't think alcohol's ever gotten you anywhere good.
Hey, babe, I came here to drink some beer and beat some ass. Looks like we're almost out of beer.
You don't drink beer. You don't drink alcohol anymore.
I drink root beer.
You don't drink root beer. You drink Coke Zero. And water.
I was telling the wifey the other day about how we used to pile up in my dad's station wagon when we were kids, and we would go down and get root beer floats.
I was like, nuh-uh. And he's like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I was just bullshitting, but I had her going up until just now.
John, that's fucked up.
Come on, I used to go get root beer floats. I told her my whole neighborhood used to get in the car, and we used to go down and get root beer floats.
That's fucked up. That is so mean. I can't believe that you said it would be like you and your friends.
I was waiting to reveal this
and your
to you
mom
on the
would
podcast.
take you guys down in a station wagon. You guys would get root beer floats.
How did we ever get on that subject?
I have no idea.
When we were a kid, we used to...
That's messed up. You fibbed to me.
When we were a kid, we used to get our beer. My dad had a Pepsi machine in his garage, and he filled it with Jobel.
Oh, dear God.
That's how we used to get our beer.
Really? Really, John? I'm going to beat you so bad. Oh, I want to beat you.
I told her how we all used to pile up in the old station wagon. Head on down
I thought
to the
that
root beer
was
stand.
like so. I was just like, really? You know? I thought that was like. That's not nice. That is so wrong. That is so wrong.
Dong dong.
That is so wrong.
I should have kept it going.
John.
All right, everybody. Are we done? Are we done?
I guess we're done.
Oh, she's mad now.
I guess we are.
She's mad now about the root beer float thing. She was imagining me going down and getting root beer floats. Ice cream in them.
Why can't we end this podcast since you were a turd? A big turd.
Hey, you're my favorite turd. I'd never flush you.
I would flush you right now.
What? No.
Yes. Why don't you give some words of wisdom?
Some words of wisdom?
Yeah. Let me hear some words of wisdom from you.
Don't pee in the wind.
John, that is not words of wisdom. Come on. Give me something good.
Some words of wisdom.
Yeah, give me something good. Give me something good. Come on. You're so good at this stuff.
I hate it when you put me on the spot with this stuff. Some words of wisdom.
Yeah.
You know, guys, lately, I actually got something of words of wisdom for you. Got
Okay.
some words of wisdom for you. So, many of you guys know that I recently finished 75 Hard. Not too long ago. And I went about 2 weeks where I just ate like shit. And then I ended up jumping back onto 75 Hard. But this one is phase 1. And phase 1 is where it adds in like a bunch of other shit on top of everything you got to do on 75 Hard. So some of you guys don't know, in 75 Hard, you got to do 2 workouts. One of them's got to be done outdoors. Both of them got to be 45 minutes long. You've got to read 10 pages in a book. Mm-hmm. You've got to drink a gallon of water, so you're like pissing all day long.
Yeah.
But when you top it off, you got to take like a picture of yourself with your shirt off every day.
But this is stuff from the original
so that's
one.
the 75 Hard. Well, in addition to 75 Hard, I'm actually doing the phase 1 where you add on an additional you got to do like 8 tasks every day.
A 5-minute cold shower.
You got to do a 5-minute cold fucking wash your balls in ice water cold shower. And a couple other things that you got to do in addition to the regular 75 Hard. But here's the deal. Everything in life is just like 75 Hard, is what I've learned through doing this. Is literally if you create a plan, you take a framework. So I lost 17, 18 pounds while I did 75 Hard. Mm-hmm. And all I did was take a framework and I applied it with consistency each and every day. Now, some days I felt really good and I applied it. Other days I felt really shitty, but I still applied the same fucking framework.
Yeah.
So the whole lesson that I learned through all of this is that you literally can achieve and you can do anything that you want if you just take framework and you take discipline and you mix the two of them together. It is impossible to fucking fail at anything.
That's
like
true.
at anything that you're doing. Like, I don't give a fuck what it is. I don't give a fuck if it's your finances, if it's your body, if it's your health, if it's doing things in a business correctly. You literally find somebody who has had success in whatever area it is of your life that you're trying to change. And you figure out what their framework is. What do they do? What do they do on a daily basis to make it work? It's the same across the board. You take their framework and you apply it in your life and you will get the same fucking results.
But you're also creating good habits though too. And you're getting rid of the bad ones.
Of course.
But then the thing is like when it's over though, like are you going to continue sticking with those good habits or are you going to end up falling back?
Some frameworks you continue your whole life with them.
That's true.
You know what I mean? If you want something enough, you got to continue it your entire life.
That is very true.
And, if, look, you've got to be willing to pay a price for anything that you want. Mm-hmm. And the truth of the matter is you're either going to, it's either going to be two ways. You're either going to feel like shit because you didn't do what you wanted to do, right? You didn't accomplish what you wanted to accomplish. Or you're going to force some pain on yourself. You're going to force some discipline on yourself. But at the end of the day, you're going to feel good. Mm-hmm. So it's a trade-off. The people who are undisciplined, they have all these little moments during the day where they try to feel good because they're not doing nothing. They're being lazy, right?
Yeah.
But then at the end of the day, they got to live with long suffering. They got to live with the feeling that they didn't accomplish shit. They got to live with this long, like lingering pain.
Yeah.
And that lingering pain is long. You wake up with it. You go to bed with it.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do anything hard, right?
Yeah.
So you you flip the other spectrum, right, where you're doing hard things.
Yeah.
You're forcing yourself to do some hard things, some things that are hard to do that most people don't do. But at the end of the day, you live with the pleasure of knowing that you're moving towards your accomplishments.
Yeah.
So you go to bed, you feel good about what you've done that day. You wake up, you feel good. But during the day, you got to do these hard things, right? Mm-hmm. And these hard things are usually the framework that you're putting together that's actually moving you to whatever goal that is. Because, yeah, I do have to take a fucking balls cold shower. Yeah, I'm doing 2 workouts a day. And, yeah, it is hard whenever you do them. But at the end of the day, I feel accomplished.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not sitting here going, oh, I just didn't do shit today. I didn't accomplish anything today. And to top it off, by implementing phase 1 of 75 Hard, which has the 8 tasks that got to be done, that's fucking huge. I've been getting more done since the beginning of 75 Hard, phase 1, than I probably had gotten done the entire last time I did 75 Hard, just by adding these 8 tasks, these 8 things that I got to implement per day.
Yeah.
And I'm usually doing more. I'm doing more tasks than what he asked you to do.
I feel you.
So that's my words of wisdom for you today, and it's the absolute fucking truth. So anything you want in your life, you can have it. You just got to decide that the pain of implementing the framework in your life is easier to live with than the pain of not getting what you want.
That was really good.
So there.
That was good.
All right, you pulled it out of me. I didn't even think I had it in me tonight. Especially when you put me on the spot like that with it.
You have it in you. It's just sometimes I got to pull it out of you. Like sometimes you can be a little stubborn. I'm just like, do you even know who you are, John Hiley? Like, I know who you are. I know what you're capable of. And you need to like share this with the world.
I'm just me, yo.
Except one thing though, John cannot really work out with me because I either make your legs go numb or you get saddle sore.
Yeah, man. She's like a rabbit or something like that.
I gotta get rid of all the like negativity. That's why, I got to do what I got to do. But that was really good, John.
So anyhow, y'all, that is it. And I think she's not mad at me anymore for the old root beer.
No, I'm not. You pulled yourself out the gutter. You're still my favorite turd.
All right, you guys see how that works. Mr. Hanky over here.
Oh my God.
Mr. Hanky Panky. All right. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for coming along on this journey of this tactical.
Thank you.
I don't know why I feel like this is like
professional sometimes.
This is like one of our awkward, like a really good podcast, but an awkward one.
Why is it an awkward podcast?
I don't know.
Did I make you feel awkward?
You are now.
Oh my God.
All right, everybody.
That was a good one.
I appreciate you. We'll see you on the next one.
Remember, it's all about the motherfucking hustle. Bang, bang.
Pew, pew.